How's it going, everyone? My name is Chance Raspberry. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an independent animator, designer, and musician. I've also worked for the past 7 years as a full-time character layout artist and animator on The Simpsons. So as an industry professional, I love what I do, and I'm just so grateful every single day to be employed and to be able to put a roof over my head, pay the bills, and do so in a particularly unstable period of both our economy and industry. That said, I've heard just a lot of complaints and concerns over the past several years from fellow colleagues, artists, teachers, directors, and many other individuals that occupy the creative industry. And it's about the state of the creative industry as a whole. It doesn't just stop at animation. I'm talking comic book artists, filmmakers, musicians, graphic designers, illustrators, the list goes on. And a lot of these concerns are regarding the same things over and over again. Now, in the past, I've done what maybe you do as well, which is take it all in with a grain of salt, process or filter the information, and move on. And this is precisely why nothing's changed. We're all talk and no follow-through. Nobody's taken any action. So that is why I'm coming at you here in this video. I have created United We Brand, Artists Against Apathy, which is an online petition to really call us out on our own lack of action and make us put our money where our mouth is. Now, what concerns and issues would this petition be addressing? Well, I could tell you myself, but rather than do that, why don't you listen to this information straight from the horse's mouth?
When you're talking about residuals and people having a peak in their career and being able to kind of take that momentum from that peak for the rest of the career, one thing about residuals is the idea that when you work on something, you get credit for it, and that works for you after that initial work is done.
Yeah.
And good example, I've been working in animation for over 25 years. I've literally worked for all the studios at one point or another, so I have a pretty good basis of what I'm talking about. One of the major studios I worked for, there was some designs that I had done, and those designs were used on 5 different series and 2 different feature films that I didn't get credit for. But yet, the work I did, like if I were an actor or a writer, I would still be making an income from that. As I get older, and if I decide to retire or have some health issues. Side note, the health benefits are great. I had actually a health issue a number of years ago, and the union insurance was phenomenal. And they really did great. But when it comes to the residuals, as I get older, I have a family, I'm a father, and I see that these things, I think this is the crux of what Charles was talking about on his Animation Nation, is that getting due credit and also compensation for the work that was done at the peak of somebody's career and being able to continue to generate an income and get credit for the work that somebody has done. So for myself, as an example, the work I did back in 1991 that I'm referring to, that work, I never will get credit for that beyond that one time, even though it's been used and God knows how many, and it's in books and what have you. You get the point of what I'm talking about.
I mean, look.
So I guess with the point of my question is like, what we would hope from an animation guild is that they would be able to get something like that for the artist's labors, and also not only the labor, but it's a conceptual thing. These are ideas. These are valuable ideas that corporations are making gigantic amounts of money out of. I mean, theme parks with them, whole shot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this tug of war continues all the time. I mean, you know, you all heard the name Maurice Noble, right? You know who Maurice Noble was? He was the guy, the reason why the Roadrunner cartoons look like they do, he was the art director of all the Chuck Jones cartoons in the 50s and 60s. And so his art direction was the look that became Warner Brothers cartoons from about 1947 until when the unit broke up in 1960, in the mid-60s.
He's another guy who pretty much died in the saddle.
Yeah, it's another one. That's true. But the interesting thing is that I was talking with Maurice once about his life and everything, and I figured, God, a guy who was that famous and everything, you know what he got from Warner Brothers? He got shit. He got nothing. He said he was, at the time I talked, it was like his last year or something, he was living on his union pension, Social Security, and he would market lithographs. And that's what he was getting paid. So all the years he put in, nothing. You know, the other famous one I was thinking of was Jack Pierce. who was the makeup artist who created the Frankenstein monster. He was the one in the 30s. That, you know, if you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, there's no description of the monster. It just says sewn from dead bodies, really powerful. And that's all it says. Jack Pierce is the guy who came up with the flat top and the sutures in the side and the things on here, and the bolts, all that stuff. He designed the Wolfman, he designed the Mummy, all that kind of stuff. And then in his old age, when he couldn't, you know, work full time at the studio, he tried to sue for some sort of, you know, because Universal, that's their, they merchandise up the wazoo. He even got Boris Karloff to go to court with him, and the judge threw it out. Said, "You're on staff, you got paid, get lost."
And I agree. It'd be nice if they could negotiate residuals. It'd be nice if they could negotiate continuing credit. If you reuse someone's work on a new project, they must at least get credit. That would be, you know, that's a non-cost issue to the studio. It'd be nice to have that done.
Because this is a profession of intellectual property, which is the new foundation of the whole world. All right? And maybe you guys should go against the government and change law. If it goes down to, oh, law, you know, government does this and government does that, and if you're our collective bargaining chip, well, not me, I'm not union, I'm just here for the pizza, right? We're eating pizza. Anyway,
you're thinking of a 39 membership meeting.
And you guys are our boys, maybe you should go change law so it works in our benefit a little bit more, because this is the new building blocks of the whole world. I mean, industry is crap. Intellectual property is everything.
Well,
We have data, we have abundance, we have technology, but we don't have good ideas, and that's what we do. Is
Oh, we could hold a bake sale and see if we could buy a senator.
Well, that could
You know,
Right.
part of the issue is that, dare I say, we are not the most powerful of unions in this town.
You know how rules change, my brother, I hate to interrupt you. You know how rules change? The people change them.
That's right.
Right? And it's like, that's why I keep coming back to you saying, if you're the union, and you're the collective voice, and the laws are in the way,
exactly.
if the laws are in the way, why don't you try to change those laws?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly what. Do you come to meetings? Do you do things? This is the problem, man. The problem is
right now.
The problem is joining. The problem
here.
is joining. People don't join. When you get meetings together and stuff, you get a handful of people. There's 5,000 people doing animation
Yeah, but
in
this
this
is always the answer
town. If you
to
can
that
get 50 to a meeting, that's great.
That's always the answer to the question.
Okay,
That's
I'll
what we
tell
don't
you.
eat.
You want to talk all
we're
the
just
night?
saying.
We're here to talk. Okay, listen. In the early 90s when I was president, and we had, like, you know, making movies like Lion King, we do all this big stuff and everything. A lot of the artists were saying we gotta push for more residuals, we gotta push for more things, we gotta push for stuff, we gotta get stuff to happen. People gotta get organized. I'm sick of people saying you and your union. It's not. It's us. It's we're the union. We're the organization. As soon as you objectify and say you, then we've already lost. I spent 10 years trying to get everybody to understand that this is your temple, this is your building. You can make of it anything you want. The thing is, when I did try to get this group together, and we got some high-powered attorneys, some people that had, like, once sued Kim Basinger, and they were like real, well, you know, the real sharks, real, like, you know, let them go and they'll rip and tear, and they're like top Hollywood guys. And then I called a meeting of all the people that were concerned. Suddenly, everybody backed away. They were afraid, and and basically their attitude was, if you make me richer, I'll be happy, but if it blows up in your face, I'll pretend we never had this conversation.
It's very easy for a lot of people to say, the union should do this, and they act like it's a magic wand. The union should do this. I'm not going to get involved. I don't want my employer to know that I want the union to come in.
I'm very much involved, so I can demand.
But I mean, I hear this all the time. When we started organizing animation writers, there was all, well, I don't know, and, you know, would you do this? And people just want it to happen.
Like a magic,
Yes, you gotta have...
I don't think it's a magic thing. I don't think there's a lot of people in here that don't think it's a magic thing that helps us overnight. I think there's a lot of people in here that know it takes a lot of work. But we like to see leaders. Well, I don't care. I'm a union member, you know. It's like, I do my own thing. I'm my own leader. But I think the union members want to see leadership. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can't be strong. My personal philosophy has nothing to do with
your personal philosophy is you are the problem.
I'm the problem.
You're not a joiner.
I'm a problem.
You're not a joiner.
I disagree with
Are you
that.
joining?
I'm not a joiner. What am I joining though? That anecdote of the government is keeping us down? What am I joining that? Why would I join that?
There are a lot of people in this room who are all passionate creators, and a lot of us are really loud, but most artists aren't. And most artists need someone there to organize everything for them. And most of the people I know in this room or have seen speak in this room who are some of the only artists that I know who know how to speak up for themselves.
The Animation Writers Caucus of the Writers Guild and the Writers Guild in general works and tries to change things. We can do some stuff. There's some stuff that we've been working on for years. It's a big fight. Again, it's easy for a lot of people to say, well, you guys should do it. You should work together and make it happen. I'm sorry, just because there's a law, you can't just turn over the National Labor Relations Board and say, we'll change the law.
Why not?
You could...
Isn't that how laws are made?
I don't see you participating other than asking other people to fix things. You're asking other people to do something, but yet you're not offering any solutions.
I didn't ask exactly them to fix things. I said, why would they do that to fix
Yes, you did. You're saying,
wait. Why is it so wrong to ask a union to fix something?
The point is, it's easy for you to say, change the law. What are you doing to help us change the law?
And there you have it, guys. I mean, it's easy to see why all these issues and concerns are being so aggressively discussed and complained about. But are you ready for the big surprise twist ending? Are you? Here it is. The panel is right. A union is only as strong as the members that create it. So the real question here is, what are we doing as those members, as the artistic majority, as the creative backbone of every industry worldwide? What are we doing to make a difference, to take action, and to relinquish the need for these complaints once and for all? Because the bottom line is, if we complain, then do nothing, we have no right to complain in the first place. So please, read and sign the petition. The link is right below this video, and spread the word to your fellow artists, to every artist out there. It's not about us against them. It's not about getting riled up or being angry. It's simply about doing what is right and fair compensation. Let's create a pathway to a world where artists do have an opportunity to receive a back-end cut, even a tiny, small, minuscule one in comparison to what the big companies are getting. We deserve, as the creators of these intellectual properties and as these creative empires and brands that make billions of dollars for companies every single year, as the creators and developers and imagineers of those properties, we deserve to have at least an opportunity to get some of that revenue that they're getting. And if a production uses your art or anyone's art after that person has left the company and that person isn't getting credit for it in that new production, that needs to be addressed as well. That's unfair, and this kind of stuff is happening every day in every part of the industry. So these are things we need to address and talk about, and it all starts with us. We have the power. We have the ability. Now let's go exert ourselves as the confident, creative force that we are. Because without action, there can be no change. And united, we are the change. We have the